Hello and welcome, dearest. I'm Grandma Mimsy, and today I have for you high voltage. It is Whoa, focus. Sorry about that. Uh, didn't mean to spin you out. Anyway, M546, and again, the name is high voltage, and it has some very wild images. Now, this is in a lot of ways very similar and very different to the lightning plate, which I have previously shared. I actually had this one, probably 6 months or more. I don't know. I lost track. There are a lot of plates that have come out that went, oh, I gotta share those. And a bunch of my plates kept getting pushed back to showcasing and sharing them for a while now. So I'm finally getting kind of caught up to my stack of ones that I would like to share. I still have a bunch more that I need to share, but I have a lot of plates. Anyway, so at this point, there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. This one stamped really nicely and really well. It did not give me any issues in the releasing of the images. So yeah, there are some fine lines, and fine lines for beginners are ones that stay away from, because there's a certain technique and how you apply the paint, in the direction you apply the paint, how you scrape the polish. There needs to be things. So if you get this plate, or if you have this plate, or if you have plates similar to this plate, and you have a lot of these ones that I'm going to say are where this one here all have very thick and thin lines within them. This one could also be tricky because of the swirling. This one definitely here, these 3, 4, 5, excuse me, can be, drink your water. It is one of those days. It's Vegas. It's dry. We have reached the summer months. You add more extra liquid too, because it's good for you. Grandma Mimsy says. So as you're doing, oh, I feel a sneeze and I hope I don't have to. So we will, as quickly as possible, be able to wrap this up. If you have these fine lines on this, again, the direction that you apply, because most people want to scrape down. So if, like for this one, you're going to turn your plate because you're scraping this way instead of scraping across 2 plates. You're only scraping across the one. If you turn it upside down, just remember, as you do your pickup, you're going to want to turn quickly. So you have this upside down. So you're going to pick up your image and then very quickly turn and line up as you go, because again, it's very fine lines. They will dry fast. They will dry very quickly, and you might not get the pickup that you're intending to do. So for these types of images, I recommend the absolutely love Maniology's, nope, that's the wrong one. Yes, Sponge Free Top Coat is an awesome thing to get. It's really helpful that you would use the smudge free, especially for ones like this. And I'm going to give you also a different technique. So we'll pull out the smudge free really quick. So you're going to want to use the sticky base coat. And the sticky base coat, don't let this completely dry down. You need just a few seconds to let it set. As it's exposed to the air, it'll start to get tacky. When it's tacky is when you want to use it. So essentially, you're going to do a very, very thin coat. You don't need to use a lot of this. Essentially, you are, what I share is that when you have a newer bottle and you're going to pick a shade, that as you pull it out, the stem of the brush, this part here, you're going to swirl around so that you get the extra polish that's on the stem to go down it, because you're pushing. I'm sorry, I'm explaining this kind of cuckoo. Let me find one here that has more polish in it. This will make more sense if there's more on the brush and you can maybe see it better. But as you pull out, I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of polish on that one. So as you go through, you're spinning in circles, pushing out and against the edge, so that what is on there is no longer, it's going on the inside of the bottle to kind of go back into the masses. And then with the Maniology sticky base coat, you're going to do that, on focus, you're going to do that very thin. You do not need much. This is not like a base coat. You're not flooding it. You're not giving it a whole lot of polish. You're just doing this tiny, tiny, tiny amount on your nail so that it's there and it will be sticky. And then you can move right into this. So at this point, you're then going to apply your base color, and then you're going to do the pickup. Now, the option for these ones, the smudge free, here's a fantastic use for this. For images like this, because they are a little tricky, leave it on your stamper. Leave it sit and give it a minute exposed to air. Let it be there. And I know someone says 30 seconds. You do not know how long 30 seconds can be. Pull out your stopwatch, set the timer, and sit there watching for 30 seconds. It feels like an eternity, but it's not. So let this, come to kind of an air dry. Take your smudge free. And this is also great for reverse stamping. You're going to then give this a good amount, and you're going to cover this ever so gently. You are not dragging. You're only slightly, just very tiny, doing a little bit. So you do want to have a full brush amount on the tip of the polish of the smudge free. You want to do a very thin flooding, not a lot of flooding. And flooding is when you kind of you put the paint on, the polish on, and then you put enough on in a large enough amount that it fills itself and self levels. It kind of floods out and then composes itself. And then you got to sit there and allow that layer to dry, because it's a thicker layer, so it's not going to dry really, really fast. And that basically is an explanation. As best I'm not a nail tech, but I know enough, I've been around enough, and flooding is what you did in the day because you didn't have this. So this is what protects the art images you've created on your nail. Well, if you let this have a moment to dry, and like I said, it's just maybe 10 or 15 seconds, it doesn't need a whole lot of time. But you're going to then cover with your smudge free and then allow that to dry. Give it another 30 seconds to a minute if you want to. If you have multiple stampers, you can do them assembly line and do them all in order. And then in the process of that, come back to them. You can now use your sticky color. And again, this is for beginners, to give you the confidence, to give you the time to get the technique down. That then you use a very thin, light coat of your sticky stamping polish. You have already got your image down. It's now technically a decal or a nail sticker that you have created yourself, and then you can line everything up. You have the time to line it up where you want it to be, and then you commit. It's hold it and then wiggle around the images to get it to be where it needs to be. Don't Hulk smash. And if you want, depending on the image, sometimes certain images are best if you line them up with the edge of one side wall. Pick left or right, doesn't matter, neither is wrong or right, but pick one and then do a very slow, light roll across that will give you the flat placement of that sticker or decal, because you've created a layer of stuff that it's going to need time to find its groove on your nail and the curvature of things, because you're taking it from being of the surface that it's at on the jelly stamper to being on the nail, and those curvatures are different. So there's that. But like I said, this plate does have a lot of images. So if the lightning plate is sold out and you are dying to get one, hopefully this one will still be available for you to play with in place of, and be able to to use this one for a boatload of ideas of manis. You could do one on each nail. You could do the same one on each nail. You could pick apart and deconstruct and recreate, because you have so many different options on this that you could kind of do like these three. You could do two of these together. You could do a bunch of these, that to be able to use this one and maybe like these ones over here that are a little thicker. This one might not show up too well if it's being placed over, because it's so thin you might not see it unless the shade that you are doing, this one needs to be light and this one needs to be dark, and then you'll get the color contrast where this will show up. But if you're doing this one as a dark color and using this one as a light color, it's not big enough. There's not enough footage of real estate of the image to stamp that you're not going to see it. But if that's the job you have where you really can't do a whole lot on your nails, you could do similar shades and it would just be polish if it was in a neutral color. Like you could do ballet flats and maybe something of this rose, because this is fey. So you could do something that is very light and very minimalistic. Still do your stamping. You would know it's there, but other people might not necessarily notice it. These two, though, would be fantastic if you did, what was it? There's a bunch of shades that you could do that would be somewhat of a translucent. I'm thinking Raindrop, because if I'm not mistaken, Raindrop has kind of a bluish hue that has pink and purple glints as you get the idea of it, as it tilts. So you could do Raindrop as your base color, do this one as a darker shade, Ocean Floor, Acorn, Straight Up Black. You want to do something that is vastly different so that you're doing the different spectrum, and then take Retrograde or Cloudy and use that to do this one over the top. That would be spectacular. And if you take that, tag me in social media and show me pictures, because I would love to see how you take your version of it, because that I think would be fun. So that is High Voltage. I hope you enjoy this, helping you to decide on the plates that you do or do not want to get. Please do get the ones that will make you happy. Please be kind. The world needs a lot more kindness and love. There's a lot of people out there who need to have the extra kindness and love, because I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.